my day 8 check-in. It is Saturday, July 9th, 2022, and I'm on the 6th day of my dry fast. I'm doing this, as you can see, from inside. Yesterday I did it from the beach, but the wind was really howling. It sounded okay when I played it back in the car on the cell phone, but then I uploaded it to YouTube and over to Facebook, and there's a lot you can't hear because of the wind. If anybody knows what to do about that, make a comment, let me know. One hint, you can, if you click the closed caption, the CC for subtitles, it's pretty accurate, scary accurate. Voice recognition technology has really improved. So yeah, if you watch the video from yesterday where I'm on the beach and you have a hard time telling what I'm saying because of all the noise from the wind, click that CC thing at the bottom, and then you can read it. It's a pretty accurate transcript of everything that I was saying yesterday. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet today. It's just sort of a check-in, let you know that I'm still alive, still here. Feeling pretty good. Not as good as I did yesterday, and that heavy feeling I was talking about where it feels like somebody turned gravity up, it's come back a little bit. I mean, the first time it was like all through my body. Now it's really only my legs and really only below the knees, and it's nowhere near as pronounced, nowhere near as strong. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, so tomorrow will be the last day of the dry fast, and then that means the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning I can have my first sip of water. Like I was saying before, I'm actually allowed, I could have water, I can also have juice diluted 25%, and in this book, Living on Light, this is the book I was talking about, they say you don't even have to worry about having like a quality juice. You can have junk juice with like high fructose corn syrup in it because you're diluting it to 25%, so, right? And you're teaching your mind that you're no longer getting your nutrition from food. So it doesn't really matter whether it's good juice or junk juice. It's really just for flavor because water can be boring. Like I was saying, the first time I tried this, I got the juice, diluted juice did not agree with me at all, and I went right back to the water. I've done water fast before, and it gets boring. And so sometimes I'll squeeze some lemon juice in it, and that's great. Completely different taste. I think that's all I need. But certainly the first day I will have only water. And then the second day we'll see. Maybe I'll stick with the water. Maybe I'll try the 25% diluted juice thing. Or I might just have water with some lemon juice squeezed in it. But because that's all just, you've done 7 days with no food or water. Now you're going to do 7 days with no food. And then the next week is also 7 days with no food. So that's 21 days with no food. The first 7 with no liquids. And then the next 14 you can have water and diluted juice. So the juice lemon stuff is just so that you don't get bored out of your mind drinking nothing but water for 21 days or 14 days. So we'll see how that goes. I'm I wanted to say this, that this is not about like just trying to see if you can live without food and water, for me anyway. This is about something that I'm working on that I'm calling embodied enlightenment. And the idea is there's waking up within the dream, and then there's waking up from the dream. When you wake up from the dream, you won't have a body here anymore. So long as you have a body, a physical body, you are still in the dream. And so then the question becomes, once you have awoken from the dream, how do you then bring that realization back down into the physical body? You can't just pretend like the physical body doesn't exist. There has to be a connection. Until such time as you like you ascend like Jesus, or sometimes the Tibetans call it the rainbow body. It's also called, the New Age people call it ascension, but that's basically after Jesus. But so there's something that can happen where you do leave the dream. Your body just disappears. And there's lots of stories in various literatures about people who have done this, but it's a fairly rare event, at least so far as we know. Maybe a lot of people did it and left no record behind. I mean, I guess if some old Tibetan yogi in a cave in the Himalayas somewhere suddenly left the dream and turned into his rainbow body and was gone, if anybody even noticed at all, they'd probably figure he just wandered off and fell down a glacier hole somewhere. But so there is, that possibility does exist. That is something that happens, it can happen. But until it does, if you are free of the dream, then at some point you've got to come down out of the clouds and bring that awake realization back down into your body. And so what does that look like, right? I mean, part of what I've found that I'm talking about when I talk about embodied enlightenment is that as deeper layers are uncovered, you can use the energetic reaction of your body to whatever is arising in your perception to come to a quicker transcendence of whatever that is, so that you don't have to figure it out or get centered and deal with it. You don't even have to pay any attention to what the situation or condition is. You pay attention to the energy that arises within you as a result of that. And some of these energies are very ancient, from our incarnations in Atlantis. So, waiting, really awakening within the dream means that the vast majority of junk, negative thoughts, negative beliefs, negative energy concentrations have been integrated. Probably all of them from this lifetime and maybe going back a few. But when you've when you're talking about millions of lifetimes, there can be really ancient stuff, and like one of the purposes of trauma and drama coming up in your life is to activate that stuff so you know it's there and you can integrate it. So you can just sort of like wait around for the deeper layers to surface to the top so that you can deal with them, or you can accelerate the process. And one great way of accelerating the process is by stressing out the body, and going without food and water is a great way to stress out the body. When I've done long fasts before and then eaten or had the desire to eat, I noticed that eating is almost always an act of emotional suppression. You hardly ever, if ever, eat because you're hungry. You eat because there's some feeling coming up that you don't want to deal with, and so you eat to stuff it back down. And a lot of people, I mean, I came to this, if you do fasting, you're going to just have a personal experience of that, as I did. And I've read accounts by other people doing things like this, and they also said the same thing. So I feel like, yeah, probably I'm right. So eating is an act of suppression. And so if you don't eat, it lets things come out of suppression. And if you have awakened from the dream, but you still have a form body, that means there's stuff in there that's not awake yet. And, you know, because it's really ancient and it's been there for millions of years, and you've got this momentum that just keeps carrying on and carrying on. And so like one way of bringing this realization back into the physical body and making it real is by stressing the body. So again, embodied enlightenment is like using the body. Not looking at the body as something that you're trying to escape from, or something that's in the way, or like a prison. But realizing that whatever is perfect, and you would not be in a body if that was not perfect. So that means the body can be the path to awakening from the dream. And so one of the reasons for doing this whole process, in addition to, like I mentioned previously, wanting to see if I can change the lucid dream, because if it's a lucid dream, I ought to be able to change it. And also, the whole thing of physical immortality. Physical immortality is hard because you don't get any immediate feedback, right? You won't really know if you've achieved it until you're like maybe 205 years old and you're still going strong. Then you might, right? But otherwise, you're just waiting to see if you die. How long will that take? And then that's not really a very helpful mindset to have. So there's no way of getting any kind of feedback to see if you're making any progress on that path. But with breatharianism, if you go 21 days and then maybe 3 or 4 months without food, that's a pretty good indicator that you have managed to change the lucid dream. And if you can change the lucid dream in that way, why not? Why couldn't you change it in terms of physical immortality? So that's my theory. Just to get quicker feedback as to whether or not anything can be altered in this reality, this dream reality. So that was one part of it. And then the other part of it is deliberately trying to provoke the arising of long suppressed energies from within the body for the purpose of breathing into and feeling those energies, for the purpose of integrating them, which will free me from whatever illusions were associated with those energies when they were first created and suppressed. So it's just like a stress test, you could say. So I'm pretty interested to see how this all pans out. And thank you for watching. And good night. Oh, one of the key things is that this is from the heart. Because one of the major shifts that happens when you awaken from the dream is you're no longer thinking in terms of the I self. You're thinking in terms of the we self. Your motivation is love for others, which you no longer even see as others. It's a sort of all-encompassing, universal love, consciousness. It's about a labor of love for the benefit of others, for the benefit of the entire human race and all life on the planet, really. Maybe even all life in the universe. It's about energetically shifting upwards the frequency and vibration of the totality of manifest existence. And it's like after the shift in consciousness, it just seems natural that you would do that. It doesn't even seem plausible that you would not. So it's like an inner urging, an inner calling to express love in this way.